The screen shook like an earthquake, the camera tilting sideways before snapping back into place. And in that unsteady frame stood Malaysia, stripped of glam, stripped of filters, stripped of everything except her truth. Her face was swollen, lashes clumped with tears, and her hair was tangled from a night of crying that never stopped. She didn't fix herself. She didn't hide the wreckage. She let the world see her raw because she was done protecting the people who never protected her. Her voice cracked when she whispered, "I'm pregnant." And then her eyes closed like even she wasn't ready to hear herself say it out loud. But the next words weren't whispered. They were shouted through every speaker, echoing across timelines and comments like a lightning strike. "And the baby belongs to Doug Christie." That single sentence detonated the internet. It wasn't a rumor. It wasn't gossip whispered in DM groups. It was straight from Malaysia's trembling mouth, live to millions. Instantly, the chat caught fire, emojis stacked like bricks. Fans typed "what?" in all caps, flooding the feed until you couldn't even read straight sentences. "Jackie's husband? She lying, right? Somebody tag Jackie now." Instagram nearly broke, the numbers climbing into the hundreds of thousands in seconds. And as Malaysia's sobs shook the screen, the camera zoomed in on a woman who had finally chosen destruction over silence. What Malaysia didn't know, what no one expected, was that in another room across the city, Jackie Christie was already staring at her phone with the kind of horror that could break a person. Jackie had just finished a glam shoot. Her team was laughing, packing away bags of wardrobe when her assistant stormed in, face pale, phone trembling in her hand. "Jackie, you need to see this." Jackie rolled her eyes, used to drama, but when she clicked on that notification and saw Malaysia's tear-soaked face saying Doug's name, her whole body went cold. Her hand trembled, her chest caved in, and the phone slid from her fingers like it had turned into fire. She gasped like the air had been ripped out of her lungs. No, this isn't real. This is not happening, but it was real. And the horror only grew worse because in the chaos, someone in the room accidentally bumped Jackie's phone and hit "Go Live." Suddenly, the world had not one, but two feeds. Fans watching Malaysia's confession were suddenly notified, Jackie Christie is live. And the moment they clicked in, the world witnessed a woman crumbling in real time. Jackie collapsed against her vanity, mascara streaking down her cheeks as she screamed, "Malaysia, you stabbed me in the heart!" And Doug, my husband, you ruined our family. Millions watched both lives side by side. Malaysia's betrayal, Jackie's heartbreak, and the internet crowned it the messiest, rawest reality moment of the decade. Meanwhile, Doug Christie was at the gym, lifting weights, trying to live in his delusion that his double life was still a secret. His trainer cracked a joke about reps, but Doug couldn't hear it over the avalanche of notifications buzzing his phone off the bench. Missed calls, mentions, tags, every headline screaming his name. He finally picked it up, wiped the sweat off, and when he clicked into Malaysia's live, his face drained of blood. His heart slammed against his chest. No, he muttered, pacing toward the exit. Outside, he leaned against a wall, eyes wide as he saw Malaysia holding her stomach, declaring that night wasn't a mistake, declaring his name. Then he swiped to Jackie's feed and saw his wife screaming, broken, shattering into 1,000 pieces. His trainer walked out, confused. "Yo, you good?" Doug's lips barely moved when he whispered, "I'm not sure I'll ever be good again." The feed spread like wildfire. TikTok stitched Malaysia crying with Jackie screaming. Podcasts went live mid-episode to dissect it. Celebrities slid into the comments like vultures circling fresh meat. Mona Scott stayed silent, but every viewer knew she was watching, calculating. This wasn't drama for a season. This was history being made. Twitter trended Doug's name at number 1, Jackie at number 2, Malaysia at number 3. The streets of Atlanta buzzed. Barbershops debated whether Malaysia was brave or messy. Salons screamed that Jackie deserved better. And the gossip blogs didn't sleep. By the time the sun rose, the story had already traveled across every screen in the world, but the wreckage didn't stop there. Jackie tried to hold herself together, but rage twisted through her veins. She pounded on tables, screamed at producers who had known something, and dragged everyone in her path. "You sat at my dinner table, Malaysia. You called me mom." She sobbed into the camera. The betrayal hit harder than any public feud because this wasn't just a co-star. This was someone she once embraced as family. Meanwhile, Malaysia, sitting in her dark apartment, wasn't celebrating. Her best friend Kendra whispered, "Liz, you set fire to everything. You didn't just expose him. You burned the whole house down. But Malaysia stayed quiet, staring at the ultrasound photo taped to her fridge. They would have buried this. They would have buried me. Now they can't, and Doug, he had no escape. By nightfall, paparazzi caught him slipping into a side entrance of a quiet apartment building, hoodie pulled low, duffel bag in hand, walking away from Jackie's mansion like a shadow. The picture went viral with headlines screaming, "Doug Christie moves out after pregnancy bombshell." The once loyal husband, the man Jackie defended for decades, was now branded the ultimate traitor. Sponsors dropped him. Blogs devoured him. And every second that ticked by, the firestorm grew hotter. Then came the dagger that finished Doug's denial, his own voice. A voicemail leaked, his tone low, desperate. Malaysia, Jackie can never know. If this gets out, it'll ruin everything. That single recording destroyed whatever scraps of defense he had left. The internet howled. He'd been lying. Jackie was right. Doug's career is over. And Malaysia, instead of gloating, posted just one line. "I'm done protecting men who don't protect me." That line alone pulled 1 million likes in under an hour. The saga wasn't just messy. It was biblical. A marriage collapsing live. A friendship stabbed in the back. A man stripped of everything he'd built. And yet, this was only the beginning. Because in the middle of the night, Jackie Christie received an anonymous DM. No name, no profile picture, just one sentence. "Doug isn't just hiding from you. He's hiding from someone else too, and you won't believe who she is." The night after the world exploded, Jackie Christie sat in silence at the edge of her bed, staring at her phone like it was a weapon that had already shot her in the chest. Her mansion, once loud with laughter, glam teams, and cameras, was dead quiet except for the faint vibration of texts and calls she refused to answer. Every outlet in America wanted her voice, but Jackie had nothing left to give. She was hollow. She pressed play on Malaysia's live again and again like picking at a wound, each time stabbing herself with the words, "I'm pregnant, and the father is Doug Christie." She wanted to believe it was a nightmare, but the trending hashtags told her otherwise. Her name had become a headline, not for her strength, not for her empire, but for betrayal. And that for Jackie was worse than death, but Jackie was never built to stay broken. By morning, fury replaced heartbreak. She stormed into the studio lobby with her publicist, lawyer, and a VH1 producer trailing behind her like terrified shadows. Jackie's voice shook the walls. "You knew. All of you knew. You sat on this story, you protected them, and you let me walk into this humiliation blind." Her publicist begged her to breathe, but Jackie slammed her hand on the coffee table so hard the cups rattled. "I gave this network 20 damn years. I gave them loyalty. I gave them ratings. And now my name's in the dirt because y'all wanted to protect Doug." The producers tried to calm her down, promising spin, promising edits, but Jackie wasn't listening. She was past repair. Her next words sealed her fate. "Call the press. Call every outlet. I'm not hiding. They want a circus? I'll give them one." By that evening, Jackie had done what no one expected. She went live again, but this time not from her vanity chair, not broken. She stood at a podium in black shades, hair slicked back, no glam, just rage. Flashbulbs burst like fireworks as Jackie stared down the cameras. To the fans, to the press, and to every woman who's ever been lied to, "I'm not here to clean up Doug's mess. I'm here to burn it down." Gasps filled the room. The internet froze. Jackie yanked off her shades, her eyes red but unflinching. "I stood beside Doug Christie for years. I gave him my youth, my loyalty, my body, my everything. And now he's the father of another woman's child. I didn't lose a husband. I lost a coward." And then she dropped the paperwork on the podium like a bomb. Divorce papers, signed, stamped, ready to be filed. As for Malaysia, congratulations. You didn't just break a home. You broke a legacy. The clip spread like wildfire, hitting 50 million views in 6 hours. Fans screamed in comments, Jackie snapped, "Free woman era unlocked. Doug is done for real." By the next morning, Doug's brand deals were gone, his publicist quit, and VH1 quietly pulled his upcoming episodes. He was radioactive. Pulled his upcoming episodes. He was radioactive. Meanwhile, Malaysia wasn't basking in victory. She sat in her apartment, blinds drawn, her phone face down on the table. The ultrasound photo glared from the fridge, a reminder of why she chose this nuclear path. Her best friend Kendra paced the floor, shaking her head. "Liz, you didn't just expose Doug, you set off a war." Jackie's out there doing press conferences like she's running for office. People think you're the villain. They calling you a homewrecker. Malaysia's voice was steady, though her face was streaked with fresh tears. I'm not ashamed of the truth. Doug didn't get caught. Doug made a choice. And I made mine. My baby deserves to be acknowledged. I refuse to be buried in silence again. Kendra sighed, but deep down she knew Malaysia wasn't lying. This wasn't about fame. This was about survival. And then came the recording that ended Doug completely. A voicemail leaked by someone with access, maybe even Malaysia herself. Doug's voice desperate, raw. Malaysia, Jackie can never know. I'm serious. If this gets out, it'll ruin everything. That single clip detonated across every platform. Fans didn't need more proof. He wasn't innocent.
He wasn't trapped.
He was guilty, he knew. And he begged Malaysia to keep it buried. The sympathy wave for Jackie turned into a tsunami. Doug been lying. Jackie deserved better. Malaysia had receipts the whole time. Doug's career collapsed in hours. The man once seen as loyal was now the face of betrayal. But the biggest twist wasn't even from Malaysia or Jackie. It came from Mona Scott herself. Jackie's phone rang, and when she saw Mona's name, she almost didn't answer. Doug stared at her, still clinging to hope. Don't make our destruction a circus. But Jackie answered, her voice sharp. Mona, what do you want? Mona didn't sugarcoat it. Jackie, I don't know what the hell just happened, but social media is on fire. Malaysia's clip is trending. You're trending. Doug is trending. VH1 just greenlit a 3-part special. Christie's Uncut, The Fall of a Dynasty. If you're in, we start shooting in 48 hours. Jackie locked eyes with Doug. His face begged her to say no. Don't put our pain on TV, he pleaded. Jackie's lip curled into a bitter smile. You already did. You made me a storyline. Now I'm going to own it. And with that, Jackie agreed. 2 days later, studio lights blazed, cameras rolled, and Jackie sat in an interview chair dressed head to toe in black, her lipstick crimson like war paint. She leaned forward, voice sharp enough to cut glass. My name is Jackie Christie, and this is the raw, uncut truth. I gave Doug Christie my everything. I worshipped that man. I sacrificed friends, family, even my sanity just to prove to the world we were unbreakable. But the truth is, I was in love with a fantasy. And the moment Malaysia stepped into our lives, that fantasy turned into a nightmare. The clip leaked before the episode even aired. Fans gasped. Jackie wasn't hiding. She was weaponizing the truth. Across town, Malaysia filmed her own confessional. She sat in a simple chair, hand resting on her belly, her voice steady. I didn't plan on falling for Doug. But Jackie wasn't the woman he made her out to be. She treated him like property, not a partner. He was drowning, and I gave him air. I didn't come here to play housebreaker, but I won't apologize for loving a man who needed love. That confession split the internet in half. Some called her brave. Others called her delusional. But everyone was watching. Even Chantel Christie, Jackie's daughter, couldn't stay silent. She posted a cryptic Instagram story. This ain't reality TV anymore. This is my real life. I'm hurting, and suddenly, the feud wasn't just between Jackie, Doug, and Malaysia. It was a family affair, a generational wound spilling into public view. By the third day of filming, VH1 had staged the ultimate showdown. Jackie wasn't alone. She brought in her allies, Laura Govan, Brooke Bailey, even Drea, women who had history with Malaysia and grudges long buried. They sat in a circle like a war council. Brooke spat venom, she's been a snake, always playing innocent while stabbing people in the back. Drea added, she don't want love. She wants camera time. And she used Doug like bait. Jackie sat in silence, her eyes on the floor, until Laura smirked. Well, she's pregnant now. That spotlight's about to burn her alive. Jackie finally looked up. Let it burn. She lit the match. Now she can live with the fire. And then, like fate laughing at Doug's last shred of dignity, TMZ dropped the footage no one thought existed. Grainy black and white surveillance video of Doug and Malaysia walking into a hotel suite at 2:03 a.m., hand in hand, laughing like a couple who thought the world would never see. It spread faster than the pregnancy reveal itself. No more denial, no more spin. Jackie stared at the screen, her hands trembling, her lips quivering. That's what love looks like to you, Doug? That's what you risked our family for? She grabbed her phone, hit Go Live one last time, and millions poured in instantly. Her voice was steady, lethal. This will be my last time addressing this. Doug Christie, we are done. This marriage is officially over. You don't deserve my tears. You don't deserve my legacy. You will not be in my next chapter. She ended the live with a tap, dropped the phone on the table, and walked away. Fans screamed. Jackie really said bye. Free woman era unlocked. This is history. But what no one realized was that Jackie wasn't finished. Behind closed doors, she whispered to Mona, "Add the divorce filing scene to the finale." Mona's voice was cold with excitement. Done. The cameras zoomed out, and for the first time in years, Jackie stood tall, not as the villain, not as the desperate wife, but as the phoenix. Broken but rising. And the internet? It couldn't look away. The days after Jackie's final live felt like aftershocks from an earthquake. The world had already seen enough to crown it the most explosive scandal reality TV had ever birthed, but the storm refused to die. Doug Christie wandered like a ghost, hiding in quiet apartments and ducking paparazzi, his career dissolving before his eyes. He scrolled headlines that painted him as the poster boy for betrayal, watching endorsements vanish, teammates distance themselves, and fans drag him without mercy. Every time his phone lit up with Jackie's name, he froze, knowing no apology could patch the crater he'd blown through their marriage. And yet he couldn't stop hoping she'd answer, even though deep down he knew she was gone. Jackie, on the other hand, was reborn in fire. After filing those divorce papers, she threw herself into press runs like a woman possessed. On daytime couches and primetime specials, she sat regal in black, her voice trembling only when she chose to let the world see her pain. "I didn't lose a husband," she told Tamron Hall. "I lost a coward." And every woman watching knows what that feels like. The audience roared in applause. Jackie was no longer the messy reality villain. She was the wounded warrior, the voice of scorned wives everywhere. Every talk show begged for her. Every headline screamed her resilience. And in that rise, she found a new identity. The heartbreak hadn't destroyed her. It had handed her the spotlight in a way no storyline ever could. Malaysia, however, was fighting a very different battle. She stayed off socials, her phone dark, her blinds drawn, the ultrasound still taped to her fridge. Some fans praised her courage, others cursed her as a homewrecker, but Malaysia knew she couldn't take any of it back. She whispered to Kendra one night, "They'll never forgive me, but I had to do it. I couldn't raise this child in shadows." And in that moment, her belly shifted, reminding her of the life growing inside, the life tied to a man who had already abandoned everything. Tears streamed again, not from regret, but from the weight of knowing the war had just begun. The producers at VH1 pounced like sharks. Christie's Uncut was already in production, every camera pointed at the implosion that had left fans salivating. They brought Jackie into interviews, they brought Malaysia into confessionals, they even sat Doug down in a bare studio with nothing but a single chair and a mic. He looked hollow, his voice low. "I failed. I let lust replace loyalty. I hurt two women who didn't deserve it. And the one who really paid is Jackie. She gave me everything, and I threw it away." His confession only sealed the coffin. The internet dragged him harder than before. No amount of tears could make people forget the hotel footage, the voicemail, the baby. Doug was done. But then came the whisper that threatened to crack everything open again. Late one night, Jackie Christie's phone buzzed with a private DM. No profile picture, no name, just a sentence that made her blood run cold. "Doug isn't just hiding from you. He's hiding from someone else too, and you won't believe who she is." Jackie stared at the screen, her hands trembling. She wanted to block it, ignore it, call it a troll. But something inside told her this wasn't fake. She sat frozen, wondering if this nightmare had another layer waiting to surface, and the internet smelled it. Rumors swirled instantly. Was there another woman, another child, another secret Doug had buried? Blogs speculated wildly. Fans dissected old clips, old posts, trying to spot clues. Some swore Doug had been spotted with another familiar face. Others claimed producers had been hiding more than they admitted. Jackie refused to confirm or deny, but her silence screamed louder than words. Meanwhile, Malaysia was battling whispers of her own. Paparazzi stalked her apartment, snapping pictures of her grocery bags, her swollen face, her growing belly. Blogs asked, "Is Malaysia really pregnant? Or is this another clout play?" She hated the questions but refused to back down. The baby is real. The truth is real. And soon, everyone will see. As for Doug, he drowned alone in a rented room with the blinds closed, his phone buzzing endlessly, his name rotting online. For a man once celebrated as Jackie's king, he was now nothing but a cautionary tale of ego and betrayal. And yet, even in his silence, the storm raged without him. The finale of Christie's Uncut sealed the saga. Jackie, dressed in fire red, signed her divorce papers on camera, looking straight into the lens as she declared, "Doug Christie will not be in my next chapter." Malaysia appeared in her own confessional, hand on her stomach, eyes glassy but defiant. "This baby will have my love, even if the world hates me for it." Doug's interview closed the special, his voice breaking as he whispered, "I'm sorry, Jackie. I'm sorry, Malaysia. I'm sorry to everyone I failed." But his apology didn't spark sympathy. It only sparked more rage. When the credits rolled, fans exploded online. This was better than any reunion. This wasn't TV, this was history. Jackie is free, Malaysia is strong, and Doug is done. But the whispers lingered. That anonymous DM wasn't addressed, wasn't explained, and fans knew reality TV never leaves secrets untouched. Somewhere in the shadows, another shoe was waiting to drop. And when it did, the world would be ready to watch it burn all over again.